Hello everyone, so today we are going to solve a Leetcode problem which is find smallest letter greater than target. So here we have given an array letters that is sorted. So we have to keep this in mind, that is sorted in non-decreasing order, and a character target. So what we have to do is we have to return the smallest character in the array that is larger than target. So what we have to check is if a character inside the given array letters is basically greater than the given target. So whichever is the first largest element, we have to return that. So what we have to do is clear now, right? So now let's try to go on the approach. So we have given, let's say, a list L which has element C, F, J and a target T which is a element A. And what we have to do is we have to check. So here we have to use the concept of ASCII values. So let's say I am storing a character X as A and then character Y as C. So what I'm going to do is using this, that is X1 equals to X minus a character 0, so it will basically give me the ASCII value of A, and then similarly y1 basically gives me the ASCII value of C. So if we run this, what we are going to have is that the ASCII value of A is less than the ASCII value of C, and this is how we compare that if an element is smaller or greater than the target. So here we can directly see that obviously our target value is A and then C is basically greater than the target value, so we have to return the answer as C. So using this concept we can actually solve this problem. So here what we are doing is we are firstly converting all the elements inside the letter array into its ASCII value form, and then we are comparing it with the ASCII value of the target. And once we found that the element in the letter array is greater than the target, then we have to simply return it. And since the array is sorted, so we don't have to care about the smallest letter, because whatever the number approaches first, it's the answer. So now let's try to look the code. So here what we are doing is we are storing the ASCII value of target inside an integer t, and then we are iterating over the letter array, and then we are again making each element of the letter array to its ASCII value form, and then we are comparing that if the value of y, which stores the ASCII value of the character inside letter array, is greater than the target t, then we have to simply return that x. And if this is not the case, that if let's suppose there is an letter array which has AB and then there is a target array that has element z, then here we can see that there is no element inside the letter array which is greater than the target. So what we have to do is we have to simply return whatever the first element inside that letter. So if this case didn't happen, then we have to simply return the letter 0, that is the first element of the letter. So let's try to run this. Okay, now I'm submitting this. So it got accepted. So as you can see that it's not very faster approach, because we have to find a target element, and when we have to find something inside a list, then what approach which we basically or usually use is the binary search method. So we can optimize this code using binary search. So here the time complexity is O of n, that is where n is the size of the letter array, but we can reduce it to log n by using binary search approach. So we have to actually implement the same concept, but the iteration should not be in O of n. So what we have to do is we have to just apply a binary search approach. So what we can do is, in binary search, if you don't know, it's a very easy approach. So we have three key elements. First one is left, second one is right. So left is basically the zero index of our array, and then right is basically the size of the array. So and mid is basically the sum of all those divided by 2. And then once we had done this, so instead of comparing each element, what we do is we firstly check the middle element. So if the middle element sky value is greater than the value of our target, then what we have to do is we have to store our answered character as the middle element, and then we have to actually make the right as middle minus 1. So now right would not go till n, but it will go till mid minus 1. So after first iteration, the left is 0 and then the right is mid minus 1, that is this minus 1. So now the size of array which we have to actually check for is going to reduce by half. So now we have to only check for this one. And if this is not the case, then what we have to do is we have to just simply replace our left value with the mid plus 1 value. So similarly here also we can see that once we uh, once we did our left as mid plus 1, then we have to not go over this part of the array, and we have to simply check for this one. So this will be quite helpful approach when we are targeting some element inside an array. And this is the approach which we have to implement it to make this approach more faster and efficient. So here, this binary search method, what I am going to do is I am storing a target 0 and then size of the letter, which is basically the array, and n is storing the size of array letter, and then I am initializing left as 0, right as n, and then I am going to use a string answer which stores the value of our final character. Now I am checking, so I am using a while loop which basically iterate till the time when left is equal to or less than right, and then mid is basically left plus right by 2, and then y is basically storing the elements of the array letters in their sky form. And then similarly I'm doing the same thing, that I'm checking if y is greater than t, then I have to store the answer inside our letter. So I have to store it inside our answer string, and then I'm going to do that right is mid minus 1, and then if this is not the case, then we have to basically do left equal to mid plus 1. And here there may be possibility that there is no element inside that string. So what I'm going to check is if the answer size is greater than 0, then only you have to return the first element of the string, as you have to return the 0th element of that array. And this is how we have actually modified our previous approach. Now let's try to submit this. Okay, so it got accepted. And this is it for this video. And if you want to assess the code, then you can directly check the GitHub link given in the description. And thanks for watching.